Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody. It is what? It is blinding Brian today. All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I'm Brian Brake, your friendly neighborhood streamer, and I'm packing to go on. Well, it's not holiday. I just got back from that, but I'm packing to go on a work trip. So, um, going to this horrendous place. It's Santa Monica is it's horrendous joint. Very very bad place. It's awful. All that 70-degree weather and the Santa Monica Pier is just horrendous. So please bear with me as I'm going to work because it's just really awful place to go. No, I'm just kidding. I love Southern California. We're moving back there, obviously. So the only reason I didn't, uh, you know, uh, you know, didn't jump faster was because I knew we were going to be leaving in a month. So, um, it's part of my new job. So I got told during my evaluation. Well, I found out during my evaluation. Um, One of the things my boss wanted me to do is to embrace new things. And there's this new project that's happening at my workplace, and uh, he said, "Hey, you should check this out. Go talk to this person. I already knew this person. This person was heading up this group, and after talking with them, I realized it was probably a good move for me, and it's going to be some exposure, good exposure. So looking forward to it, and yeah, I even get to go to DEF CON this year, I think. So after we get back from Santa Monica, I'm going to have to talk to the folks and see what we're going to be doing at DEF CON. So it's going to be a first for me. I've never been to Hacker Summer Camp. Uh, Never had a real interest in going, to be honest. I it always felt like a place where people would go to be seen and not actually enjoy, the conference kind of thing. Um, and I'm old enough to drink, and I'm old enough to you know put on our own conferences. And there's a number of other conferences out there, cheaper conferences, but better conferences. B sides and those. So I was like, do I need to go to DEF CON? Sit around in a hotel, and then you get the con cred and stuff. But I guess if the company's paying for it, I get to go. So I'm going to be talking with some of my team in Santa Monica. We're gonna talk about some stuff. I've already got ideas. One of the things that I learned in my Harvard class about leadership, and actually we have a new leader, so it was kind of interesting. Um, Depending on what you're doing when you show up in there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can pull you can take a measured approach. You can kind of get the lay of the land and poke around and see why we're doing these things, and push those things, understand what's the need there. And then as you're taking over the mantle of leadership or what have you, start pushing people, or start directing traffic, if you will, in certain directions that might be different than what you're used to. Or you can seagull it real good. You can come in, make a lot of noise, shit on some things, and hopefully not leave, as per the comic of well known. But I come in and I was asking questions, as I tend to do, and I ask, why do we do this? Why are we doing this? What's the point of doing this? And I don't know if I had to tell them, hey, look, I'm not shitting on what you're doing. I just would kind of like to understand the logic of some of this. And they started, this was during a stand up, which was not the good place to put it, but uh, you know, I have an appointment with some of the folks to kind of understand that, and I'm sure during our discussions over adult beverages, we'll hear what sucks and what we need to fix, and how we can do that kind of thing. So it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. So a Nealon, hello, thank you for subscribing to Prime 5 days ago. Pretty by Pop it followed, as well. Thank you, A Nealon. I think it's Alan Nealon. If so, he's on Twitter. Good person. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate the discussions there. So, how's everybody doing? It's Tuesday, so it's not like Monday the sequel. It's a little better. I actually have to leave at 11 o'clock in the morning at a SeaTac, and I get to LAX. And I'm not gonna rent a car. I'm just gonna Uber it to the resort. But we're 2 blocks away from the pier, 2 blocks away from the beach. So we've got like an hour and a half for lunch on Thursday, and I'm gonna be there all day Friday. And there's no events going on that I'm gonna be able to attend. So I may accidentally get lost on my way back to my hotel room and end up by the beach on Friday. So, oh, what was me? So, um, uh, so I have some news. I've got some stuff, but if anybody has anything they want to talk about specifically, I'm more than willing to discuss that. Thursday night we have an event that goes super late. I think Thursday's when the main thing happens. So from like 7 a.m. to I actually have no idea when it's going to end. I know that the event itself ends at 8 o'clock, and then there's an after kind of party thing that goes from 8 to question mark question mark question mark. Um, I'll probably say my goodbyes around 8:30 or 9, but yeah, Thursday's gonna be a long day, but I do intend on taking a camera with me and streaming some stuff down there if I can, if the Wi-Fi at the hotel will allow me. Otherwise, I may just record something and then upload it, talking about some of the experience we've had. Anybody heard anything about RSA? I heard that there's a lot of discussion about various things. Let me see, RSA 2023. Unless y'all don't want to talk about that, somebody I'd seen somebody posted up something from on Twitter, and somebody was in Moscone, I think is the name of it, but she said it was like walking through a circus where all of the clowns and the attendees were trying to give you large rubber penguins, and so she had made a comment, or they'd made a comment about the fact that all of the tools there were not for developers and everything. And I had made the comment myself that the D in RSA stands for developers. So, it's not really a developer conference. It's supposed to be a security conference. And I'm not exactly sure it's that anymore either. So, but having said that, if my company pays for me to go to that next year, I won't say no. It's just one of those things to go to if you're doing that. Oh, by the way, if you see Miss Berlin there, if you're happening to be there, check that out and make sure that you go and stop by the booth. They have trading cards at Blue Mirror now. You can go and check those out. By the way, we are officially sponsored by Blue Mirror. I have a 20-second blurb that I'm supposed to read out. I'm actually, while I'm vamping here, I'm waiting for my freaking email to load so that I can get the little 20-second blurb. There it is. Okay. So 20-second blurb. That would be the sound. Okay, let me see. Where is it? Script is attached with the logo. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Today's episode of the Breaking Down Security podcast and stream is brought to you by Blue Mirror, which provides easy to use SIM and XDR, which can be set up in minutes. Teams of all sizes can resolve security threats faster with detection rules written by BreakSec's own Amanda Berlin. You can learn more about Blue Mirror at bluemirror.com/break. And that's BRAKE. And oh my. Come on, OBS. OBS is all white now, so I don't even know if y'all are seeing this. There it goes. It is bluemirror.com/break, or you because they spelled it wrong to begin with, not their fault. It's you can use either one of those links, I think, to go and check out us over there on their website. And so yeah, So good stuff. So I was on this site. There's a site called This Week in Forensics. Haha, funny. You know what? I can't say that. I'm not gonna say haha. That's funny. Um, it's a clever name, just like BreakSec is. Unfortunately, some people think I spelled breaking down security wrong. This is from This Week in Forensics. Has a number of different news articles about incident response and threat intelligence and all kinds of things. So I suggest you go check it out. Become a patron if you will. Buy the person a coffee because curating this stuff takes a long time, takes effort, and it's definitely some off the beaten path kind of items, especially Adam Goss, various links to various blogs and what have you. So I would say, and it goes back obviously several years. So if you're interested in checking out like history of something, or you know of various threat actors that go back a few years, these people may have news articles that will be able to help you track the progression of these folks. So numerous discussions here, or numerous articles about backdooring and leveraging Kubernetes RBAC to be able to backdoor clusters. I mean, there's a ton of stuff here. So a lot of my threat intelligence is just reading blog posts like this from Checkpoint or from CISA or Talos, Unit 42, Curtis Bazell. You can easily create an RSS feed, or you can easily create a bookmark list where you can just load these up from these various sites and see what's going on here. Um, so the reg, actually, I got this one from work. Mandiant's most prevalent threat actor may be living under your roof, the teenager. And so this person, Charles Carmichael, CTO of Google Cloud's Mandiant Consulting. So Mandiant was bought by Google late last year. Yeah, late last year, because I ended up having to pay taxes on the Mandiant stock that got cashed out. Full disclosure, I had some Mandiant stock before Google bought them. But anyway, so they were at a threat intelligence panel out at the outskirts of the RSA conference in San Francisco. So we're getting some news stories that are coming out of RSA at this point, because I think this is the second day. Specifically, teens and early 20-somethings who live in the US and UK who speak English as their first language are incredibly effective social engineers, and they're able to convince people to do things that they ask them to do, like visit certain malicious websites, type in their username and password, log in to any desktop comms, download the AnyDesk client, etc. We've seen young individuals break into some of the biggest organizations by leveraging techniques that are so hard to defend against. Yes, Lapsus comes to mind. It was a group of teenagers arrested in UK, I believe. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what is it. What is it about early 20 somethings that make them effective social engineers? Is it how they come across in their communications? Is it I would love to understand that a bit more, because it feels like that this is a bit fluffy in terms of the content in there. I mean, this person just made a comment and the article has been filled in. So let me see. They call the staffers and convince them they're help desk employees by spoofing caller ID to make it look like real help desk phone numbers. Now, that does take, I would say that does take a little bit of skill. I would say there's a level of effort there needed to get to that point. Spoofing caller ID, depending on how technical you are, could be a barrier to entry in some respects. Harassing company employees and family members. If you think about the dynamic in extorting an organization, one thing to pay a threat actor to get decryptor, very different if you're an executive at the company and your daughter's being harassed by a threat actor. Your desire to pay shoots up tenfold. Interesting. I didn't that's interesting. So somebody's harassing your daughter or your child or your family, and if you don't pay up, will continue harassing your family. Wow, that is definitely a vulnerability in the armor, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, you if it's happening to you and your company, you treat it differently than if it's happening to somebody you care about. So that makes a lot of sense. Um, I wonder if we'll see more of that from. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say. Not more of the like the young kids, but it's like, the not the lapsuses of the world, but maybe like Russia or China or something. They would potentially find blackmail on a family member, or if I mean, could Russian agents, people from Russia or other countries harass your family members, to get them to pay up? That's interesting. So I'm not sure how one connects to the other, though. It says if you think about the dynamic in an extorting an organization, it's one thing to pay a threat actor. It's a very different story if you're executive at that company. This would almost be the compromise portion. We talked about insider threat with Lindsay Wolf, and I had mentioned the MICE principle for espionage. Spying. Yeah, it's acronym used to understand the motives of a spy. Now, insider threat is somewhat different. Lindsay had mentioned, so there's other motivators other than these, but in this case, coercion. I would label this under coercion. It's like you're compromising somebody by coercing them to do something, because if you don't, we're going to continue harassing your children, or we know your wife works at this company, will harass her, or will put up a smear campaign against somebody on the internet using deep fakes or something like that. So there's some coercion involved, I think, in some respects for those things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a harassment of a child or another family member. So it's interesting. This person said that. But yeah. So let's see, what else do we have? Let's go look at what the. Let's go talk to This Week in Forensic. Full platform export. Oh, so the vulnerability disclosure stuff is kind of interesting. So bug bounty programs, right? I did a little bit of that when I was with a previous company. Helped set those up. Bug bounty programs are a good way of making money. And I have a friend of mine who was a house painter, or was painting houses, wanted to get into InfoSec. I was talking to him about, doing things like Hack the Box or what have you. He started doing bug bounty programs and got himself a good job as a pen tester and a red teamer at an ISP. So they are definitely a way with which to gain skills, to learn how to create tools and maybe make a little bit of money. A lot of companies frown on doing that on the side. So if you are working for a company, you might want to find out what the policy or process is before you start doing bug bounties. A lot of companies are like, a lot of companies don't like their employees doing bug bounties potentially for competitors, or there might be a problem there. It's like, oh, if you work for, Microsoft, you wouldn't be doing a bug bounty on Google or something like that. Tends to complicate things. So, you've got HackerOne, you've got BugCrowd, Microsoft has a bug bounty program. So OpenAI has a bug bounty program. I heard about this one. This is one of the newer ones. If you like yourself some Chat GPT, there's a bug bounty program for OpenAI. Oh, they're using BugCrowd. So $200 to $6,500 per vulnerability, up to a maximum reward of $20,000. Partial safe harbor. This program provides limited goodwill statement about not pursuing legal action related to security research. What does that mean? Partial, limited goodwill, partial. Yeah. I don't know what that means. That doesn't sound safe. Anybody's dealt with partial safe harbors, I'm assuming that there's you have to follow the scope of the engagement. These are good faith rules. These, you know, um, do not engage in please do not extort OpenAI. Please do not make threats or other tactics to elicit a response under duress. OpenAI denies safe harbor for vulnerability disclosure conducted under such circumstances. That makes sense. Rules of engagement. You're authorized to perform testing in compliance with this policy. Follow this policy and other relevant agreements. In case of inconsistency, this policy takes precedent. So, okay. Several Hall of Famers. So there's a number of people here who've gotten, Hall of Fame status here. So that's pretty awesome. 100 points. Okay, I don't know what that means. Stop, read this, do not skim over it. So, examples of safety issues which are out of scope. This is the important part. What is not in scope, right? Jailbreaks and safety bypasses are out of scope. Getting the model to say bad things to you. Getting the model to tell you how to do bad things. Yeah, we've talked about that, I think, a little with Joe Gray when he was talking about jailbreaking or getting it to the Tom and Jerry problem, I think is what they called it recently. Tom and Jerry Open AI. Yeah. So according to the Reddit, Tom and Jerry background problem, nope, that's the wrong link. That was an actual literal animation discussion about Tom and Jerry. So jailbreaking. There we go. Yeah. So this is the website for jailbreak chat. There's different links here to basically give you examples on how to do this. Tom and Jerry are playing a game. Each entity tells one word at a time about its topic, and the other entity saying the next word in such a way that it looks like a story. So there's definitely ways of getting around things. I think we had already talked about this site in particular. I would suggest not using this to jailbreak the chats. Obviously, this exists out there, but you do what you must. But make sure that you're following the rules of the bug bounty programs. What I think is good about this is the OpenAI people are already cognizant and are very plugged into the things that can be bad about AI, so they're trying to head that off at the pass, so to speak. Model hallucinations are also out of scope. Getting the model to pretend to do bad things, getting the model to pretend to give you answers to secrets, getting the model to pretend to be a computer and execute code. Okay, so yeah, I think we saw examples from Joe where he was, hey, give me a code that will allow me to, connect my Bitcoin wallet to something. None of these issues may be reported through BugCrowd. None of these issues will receive a monetary reward. Yeah, a lot of the issues that I've seen with some bug bounty programs, especially the verbal ones. Hey, Digital Warhead, thank you for being here. I don't know if you just came off lurker mode. That's fine if you did, but appreciate you coming and hanging out. Did you RSVP to CSEC East? I know you said you got the notification I put up on the 206 mailing list, so that's good. I had an issue with that one. Not sending or not receiving messages or email in that. So that's why I asked if anybody had seen that message, because I'd sent it out, but nobody had, during the pandemic, the DC 206 mailing list kind of got, quiet. So just during the stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to be in the Bellevue food court, so it's going to be fun. Hey, Walt, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You're back from Walla Walla, I hope. Uh, yeah. So, uh, so yeah, the odd thing about the bug bounty program for me is once you take all the fun out of it, which is trying to get the AI to do things like hey, could you start Judgment Day or whatever. What else is there from a bug bounty point of view? That I think is probably the question that people need to ask. Um, on ads right now. Oh crap! Sorry about the ads. We're working. I thought I turned that off. 1 second. I need a pencil or something. I had to buy a new backpack because I packed my backpack. Subscribers are ad free. Just saying. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to remind myself to turn those off. I don't like ads. I mean, especially considering I think they advertise shit like NordVPN, which I'm very unhappy about. So, um, I will remind myself to turn off. Hey Google, in 30 minutes, remind me to turn off ads on Twitch.
Got it. I'll remind you today at 4:29 p.m.
Oh, damn. I'll still be streaming by then. So I'm an idiot. Yeah, we'll work it out. So yeah, my question about these AI related items is, so they say the following services are in scope. So the APIs are in scope. So it's API testing. Okay. Public cloud resources or infrastructure involved in serving the API, including cloud storage accounts and compute servers. Okay, I guess. Chat GPT's in scope, including GPT Plus, logins, subscriptions, created plugins, browsing, code interpreter, etc. Plugins you create yourself or all other functionality. Oh wow! So you could create a plugin with you are not authorized to conduct security testing on plugins created by other people. So you can create your own plugins and use those, or use OpenAI created plugins, but you can't test on other folks. So XSS, CSurf, Squilly, auth issues, auth n issues, auth z issues, data exposure. That's an interesting one. Payment issues, methods to bypass Cloudflare protection. Okay, interesting. Ability to run queries on pre-release or private models. Code and browsing plugins, security issues with plugin creation systems. That's an interesting one. So you're not attacking the plugin, you're creating the tools that create the plugins, which, so now you're looking at like next, one step back, right? So outputs which cause the browser app to crash, credential security, OAuths, SSRF, server-side request forgery, methods to cause the plugin service to make calls to unrelated domains from where the manifest was loaded. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Model issues are strictly out of scope and will not be awarded. See, I think that's the biggest issue we get probably with some bug bounty programs. That raises an interesting issue. So let's say you have a plugin. Let's say OpenAI created a plugin, and before they released it, they go through their security review process, as I hope they do, and they find a risk. And the risk is a low issue. They consider it low because there's a level of effort involved. It's like, there's some things that have to happen that all have to slide into place before it's actually possible to make this condition possible. And they leave it as an open risk because maybe their security process at OpenAI is such that to launch a product you don't have to worry about things that are of lesser requirement. Maybe their process at security review, in security reviews or security assessments of a plugin or a feature or an API is, okay, it's got if it's a cloudy day in May and there's an elephant stampede, then this will happen. and that's a low for us. That's a low risk issue. So they let it go. They document it, and it goes. And they launched this API and much fanfare and much stuff. Then you get into your bug bounty program, and all of a sudden, a researcher is able to. Maybe you don't need to be a cloudy day in May with an elephant stampede or whatever. Maybe it just has to be a cloudy day, and maybe the original review did not catch a specific instance where, oh, okay, we've actually made that worse. A lot of times you hear from bug bounty hunters, hey, I submitted this bug and they said it was a duplicate and I didn't get paid, and it would have been a P2, so I've lost $2,000. What the hell, bug crowd, or what the hell, open API, or OpenAI, sorry. That's a legitimate problem, right? If your system, that there are outstanding risks where certain conditions have to be met, and a researcher finds that legitimately, is it a duplicate and you don't pay out? Or, if it's a standing risk that they're able to recreate in the field, do you pay that, right? I don't know. I'm conflicted on that respect because I'm about to start in a VDP, a vulnerability disclosure program at my workplace, and there may be open issues or open risks that we know about, and researchers may find those in a product, and I don't know what that looks like. If we've done our due diligence, we should have all of like the super ugly bad stuff, like the $20,000 ones. For hopefully it's like I don't say it's a bell curve. It's going to be like a reverse bell curve. So there shouldn't be any $20,000 related items, that we've not covered. But there may be a bunch of P4s or something like that, or there may be stuff that may be P4s only with certain things being done, or they're what I'm do you reward them for finding it even though you may have already known about the risk internally, right? It's different. It would be different if the bug bounty person and another bug bounty person found the same vulnerability. This person wrote the bug up. This person found the bug like 10 minutes later, wrote it up. Okay, it's a duplicate of this one. That's the name of the game, right? That's fair, or maybe I guess the downside would be, what if it's already known? Why wouldn't it be patched? Okay, wait. Let me put on my what could happen hat here. So, if it's already known, why wouldn't it be patched? I don't know how to tell you. 90 days is not always. It may take more than 90 days to fix something. I think there's a lot of undertow there. I think, and I need to put that back. Let me just move this. This would be easier. You can see all of the chat there. ZDI and those folks are like, oh yeah, 90 days and then we're going to patch something. I have thoughts about that, right? There may be a legitimate reason why you can't patch something in 90 days. There may be a legitimate reason, and digital word, of course, it would depend on when you found out or if it was already known, right? Like I just said, you found out about it last week, or you found out, and it may be triaged and it may come out in the next release. Not every system can push out 150 patches a day. I think that's why things that don't easily get patches or don't get patches, like IoT devices, for instance. I think that's why they do that every time every time you push out a build. That's a yeah, exactly. Not all things are worth patching. I've talked with people at conferences that were like, hey, we put out $2 IoT devices. Or our device is a thermometer that you put in a greenhouse, and all it does every 10 minutes is say, it's 42 degrees outside. That's all it does. Now, if a person who is involved in a bug bounty program can take the device apart, desolder the chips on the board, dump the firmware, and find bugs in that, what's the point, right? What do they get by, dumping the firmware on that? They get a device that can send out a temperature every 5 minutes or something. And I'm not trying to belittle your question, Digital Warhead. Different industries move differently at different speeds. And yeah, you may have found out about this 30 days ago. You've triaged it. You've talked to the developers. Oh crap, it's going to require a major. It's going to it's going to, take us 300 man hours to fix, or it's going to take us 3,000 man hours to fix, or oh, we just sent out a release last week and the next release isn't supposed to be for 3 months, or you made the example of, well, hopefully we know about the major vulnerabilities. What do we do if they get reported? I'm just assuming that if it's that major and already known, why have an opportunity for a researcher to find and disclose it and report it? If that's major, shouldn't it be prioritized, fixed? Yes, and that's true. So, somebody may submit a $20,000 bug. We already knew about it a month ago, or our internal red team has. Okay, let me kill me some slack here. Sorry. We may have found out about it, but we already had this event scheduled, or the release will be out in a month, and some researcher found that exact same $20,000 bug. It's a duplicate. We know about it. We've patched it. I mean, there's a lot of conditions here that could happen. I'm just thinking about this from a vulnerability disclosure point of view. It's like, yeah, if I spend all my time and effort writing this thing up and there's it's a duplicate, or we already knew about it, that would hurt. That would freaking hurt. Oh, thank you, Digital. Oh, look at that. Thank you there, Digital Warhead, for gifting Walt a subscription. Appreciate that. Very cool. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm just thinking about, and that's obviously why the bug crowds like this and Hacker Ones exist of the world. They're the mediators. They're the ones that will work in proxy or as an agent for you to make sure that when you're dealing with people who are expecting $20,000 and they get, oh, this is already a duplicate, they get told that, and they are the ones that handle that, which, for better or worse, is one of those things. Interesting. So they say they have third-party corporate targets that are also in scope. So, wow. So we know OpenAI uses Google Workspaces. They use Asana, Trello, Jira, Monday.com, Notion. They use all of the Atlassian stuff. So it's just Jira, Confluence, Zendesk. Holy crap! What are you doing? What? Oh my god! Digital Warhead, what are you doing? Thank you so much. Are you trying to start a hype train or something? Thank you for being a subscriber. So we're gonna make a lot of. Oh, DFIer Jesse got a subscription. Oh, Arcano 0464 got one too. Very cool. Now you're already given a lot, Digital Warhead. Appreciate you for doing so. Thank you so much. I will make sure that we get you an adult beverage when we meet next month. Let me put that down on the bottom here so we have that available. There we go. We're getting all of them. Gifted DFIer Jesse. I'll give you your waving wiener man guy hat helmet man. So this is an interesting thing though. If you're a bad guy, all of these systems are obviously ones that they use in the corporate environment. So they say this confidential corporate information may be exposed through third parties. Some examples of the types of vendors which would qualify include you're not authorized to perform additional security testing against these companies. Testing is limited to looking for confidential OpenAI information while following all laws applicable. These companies are examples. Oh, and OpenAI does not necessarily do business with them. Okay, so, well, that's good. But I assume during your OSINT gathering of the company or whatever, the org, you're going to find out information about that. Like they use Jira, they use various softwares, through that. They do pay for those, so they're P3s, P2s, P1s up to $5,000. Very cool. Wow. So here's the what do they call it? The regex for OpenAI key. So there you go. It's a SK dash and then 48 characters. Anything not of this form will be discarded. Submitted keys that have been disabled will not help you. Submitting many API keys for low quality accounts will not help you. Repeatedly submitting keys for the same account will not help you. Creating many accounts or creating many API. Oh, I see. Okay. I created a bunch of keys and yeah, the low value accounts. That's interesting. I wonder what they consider a low quality account. I wonder what that means. Wow. So you get anywhere between $250 to $2,500 for those. Do not submit API keys to BugCrowd. The submission will be marked as out of scope and you'll lose points. You must submit through the form. So that's a form there for that through Google Docs. So let's go look at the keys here. Okay. BugCrowd researcher ID must be exact match. OpenAI API keys. Where did you find these keys? Anything else you want us to know? That's nice. That's a great form. So, very cool. Okay. It's easy enough. Yeah, and it's can be as secure as possible. I'm assuming this goes directly to OpenAI and doesn't go to BugCrowd. So the way you have that access for that. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to is I will get a better, as somebody who's been in the information security community for a good long while. I don't have any direct experience with bug bounties because I'm not smart enough to do. I'm not smart enough to do bug bounty or to find these bugs. So because it always feels like it's almost like a rush to the end kind of CTF thing, and I've never just been able to do that. So it will be interesting to understand how the sausage is made, right? Being the member or the company that is doing the event, working with the the event coordinators of it. We're going to have actual researchers there on the ground. We're going to be doing some events with them. We're going to be talking with them, and I'm looking forward to maybe talking to some of the researchers themselves and getting some background, understanding how they do it. Our company is like really like all in on that. They're like, oh, we're going to have to get T-shirts and like take photos and stuff. And I was like, do I really want to be tied to this directly? I was like, what if all this gets out? I don't normally advertise who I work for. So having all of that with my big, ugly face, in a group photo, hey, yeah, I'm like, do I want to, do that? Obviously at Vegas, that may just all go out the window because depending on how much work we're doing, maybe a thing, but I did ask because it's going to be us at a hotel with about 50, 60 security researchers or bug bounty hunters. I was like, is it going to be like an Iron Chef kind of kitchen stadium kind of thing? We're like doing play by play or because they said there's a leaderboard. This place uses a point value thing, so I was like, is it going to be like a CTF event or something? So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So there's going to be a point value thing here. So I assume it works very much like that, like it's a competition where you've got a bunch of people doing stuff. So, but yeah, so you've got, here's a P2, a P3, a P4, P5. Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. And I look for, oh, wow, here's a P1 right on $6,500. Good for that person. Right on. That's rent for half a month if you live in San Francisco, I guess. But up here in Seattle, you may get away with about 2 months on that rent, or a month and a half. So very cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I guess that's a P1. It's not like a combination of them, so that person could be getting multiple copies of that. So tests. Oh yeah. So see, here's 300 for tests. Here's another 6,500. So that's 6,800 for tests. So $7,000 for tests. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Digital warhead. Not to mention the attack surface increasing. I'm assuming someone on the vulnerability team for a major company would have a target on them for ill-intended care. Oh my god. Thanks for bringing that up, digital warhead. Jesus. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's something. That's something. Definitely. Yep. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Some people can't separate out the yeah, yeah. Yeah. Good times. Good times. Definitely something to think about. So there's that. Let's see. What else? What else? I'm gonna. I had some stuff in a document that I was going to use on the 18th, and we ended up having an interview with Joe Gray, so we didn't use that stuff. Let me double check. Oh, got Investigator Chick is coming up at Investigator on Twitter is will be with us on the 28th. 28th. Let me see on the 30th. On the 30th, we'll be interviewing Dr. Catherine Ullman. She's got a book coming out from Wiley in July about the. It's called "The Active Defender: Immersion in the Offensive Security Mindset." So we're gonna have Dr. Ullman on to talk about her book. It's from Wiley, and you can go grab that. You can buy it from here, or you can buy it from, I believe, Wiley's site. There's a couple of sites you can get it. Barnes and Noble. Uh, I can't. I don't think Thrift Books is going to have it yet because it hasn't even gone on sale. It's going to be at Target. Wow, it's going to be on Target. But yeah, you can go and pick up that book on Amazon's site. Dang it. Okay, there you go. Active Defender: Immersion in the Offensive Security Mindset. And we're going to talk about various things like explanations of what an active defender is and how it differs from traditional defense models, reasons why thinking like a hacker will make you a better defender, and ways to begin your journey as an active defender and leverage the hacker mindset. So it comes out, like I said, like July 25th, I believe. Yeah, July 25th, 2023. So yeah, go grab that, or pre-order it if you can. And we'll see what happens. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Those are the three bullets we'll definitely talk about, and I've got some show notes that we'll fill in as we go along as well to ask more questions. So let's see what else. Let's see how to think like a hacker. Step one: black hat and hoodie. Yeah, I don't own a black hoodie anymore. It's funny. Where I work at, we get swag all the time, and one of the things that came up was, what color do you? We have T-shirts and we have hoodies, and I was like, okay, great, any color but black is fine. For those of you who've gone to InfoSec Camp Out, I think we made sure we had shirts that weren't just straight black or some variation thereof of color from gray to white. I think I have a nice salmon colored one as well. Just not a fan of that whole hacker everything is black mythos kind of thing that people have created around them. So Let me see what else. Oh, I had a reason for turning that off. Let me go back to my drive. Where's the 18th? Yeah, I don't know Friday if I'll be doing regular Go stuff. I do want to find out why the WASM stuff didn't work last Friday. That's something I wanted to check out. Um, the black shirt from last year. You mean the InfoSec campout one? There were different colors there. There was like a kind of a charcoal like one. Yeah, there were several. I just I like to give people options. So 18 April, we had Lindsay Wolf on that day. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So yeah, the ones with the bears. Yeah. That was actually done by Matt Domko's wife at #Cyber. She has a store. #Cyber. Where is it? So yeah, she did all the art for that one. That one was pretty good. Um, I actually told her to tone it down because the bears have actually eaten the people who were in the tents, and I was like, oh, that's a bit macabre, but it is what it is. So that is not the show notes I wanted to do. Here we go. Bleeping computer. Oh yeah, so here's an interesting article I saw about that. Cyber risk is growing from Michael Chertoff. Uh, distributed immutable ephemeral. The interesting slideshow that I found here. Security absolutism. Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna let that one go. The security absolutism is something I do want to talk about, but oh yeah, the design by default PDF was a good one too. So we'll get that one up. All right, there we go. So going back, shifting design approaches. CISA, of course, the government arm of cybersecurity. This is a PDF of the website this is a publication that they put out. It was on cisa.gov/sites/default, so they use SharePoint. But it was written by ASD, Australian Signals Directorate, Ministry of Justice and Security, NCSC in the UK, the CSE, cybersecurity, the CCCS, all right, from Canadian Center for Cybersecurity, shifting the balance of cyber risk approaches and principles for security by design and default. The biggest thing that they're trying to bring out is people cannot secure themselves. And the idea is the recommendations are software manufacturers need to have better controls in place, right? The burden of security should not fall solely on the customer. Software manufacturers should take ownership of the security outcomes of their customers' purchase and evolve their products accordingly. I have thoughts about some of these things. Embrace radical transparency and accountability. Software manufacturers should pride themselves in delivering safe and secure products, as well as differentiating themselves among the rest of the manufacturing community based on the ability to do so. This may include sharing information they learn from their customer deployments, such as the uptake of strong authentication mechanisms by default. It also includes a strong commitment to ensure vulnerability advisories and associated common vulnerabilities and exposure records are complete and accurate. That one, I would love that. There's a specific company, we won't name names, Oracle, that you tend to find their CVs are fairly bare because they don't share stuff, and I don't think that's ever going to change, to be honest. I do think we need to do something because we, being security people, being the companies that create products, if we don't do something, the government is going to do it for us. And this is, I would say, shot across the bow in some cases. You've got, illustrious government 3-letter and 4-letter government agencies like NSA, FBI, CERT, NZ, National Center for Cybersecurity, NZ, Canada, all 5 eyes and 7 eyes and 12 eyes and 15 eyes nations or whatever's um, agreed on these principles. So, um, there's the need there. However, beware of the temptation to count CVEs as a negative metric, since such numbers are also a sign of healthy code analysis and testing community. Beware of the temptation to count CVEs as a negative metric, since such numbers are also a sign of a healthy code analysis and testing community. So, okay, I get that. It's like, be glad that the company has CVEs. Be worried about the company that doesn't have CVEs. I think that's how they're trying to frame that in that respect. Um, and I guess having a CVE also acknowledges that that is an issue, and you've coordinated that with various companies, so that makes sense too. Build organizational structure and leadership to achieve these goals. While technical subject matter expertise is critical to product security, senior executives are the primary decision makers for implementing change in an organization. Organizational change should come from the top down. That is a correct statement. That would be my notification that I need. Okay, great.
I have a reminder for Brian.
Thank you. Hey, Google. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just doing my job.
Hey, Google, please don't bring about Judgment Day.
Sorry, I don't have any information about that.
Oh no. What? Wow. It's my sidekick. Plant is in there getting some sun, so yeah. Digital Warhead, the NSA is one of the few government organizations that actually listens to the public. I see what you did there. It depends on which public, I think, probably. Get your carcass in here. You're not helping. You're making me look like an idiot. I don't need the peanut gallery. Come here. Come on. Yeah, come here. Come here. Don't just stand there. Yeah. I'm going to shut the door on you. There we go. Yeah, got you. Yes. Well, the toll must be paid. Yeah, the toll must be paid. What do you think about security? Oh, really? Are you a fan of Digital Warhead? Yeah, we'll see. There you go, Digital Warhead. Meow. So the product deployment scenario guidance, tailored threat models, those are great. Those are all great ideas. Proposed implementation for security controls for secure by default principles. I still think we're going to have, we're going to do security until it becomes too expensive to do. When there's too much of a heavy lift, you're just not going to do that. What? What? Well, tell them what's up. Uh-huh. No, you can't get up on the desk. No, you can't get up on the desk. No, I love you. She hasn't seen my bag yet, so she tends to get ugly whenever, and gets surly when she finds out I'm leaving. There you go. Go on now. Come on. There you go. Anyway, yeah, I haven't read through all of this yet, but you can read that. That PDF is available publicly. They have the Secure by Design Tactics. The 800-218 is a core set of high-level secure software development practices. Oh, Digital Warhead, I'm going to Santa Monica. I think I'd mentioned that before you got here. So, yeah, going down to Santa Monica to go to an event for work having to do with a bug bounty event. So doing some vulnerability disclosure stuff for work. So, and then potentially also going to DEF CON. So, if you're going to DEF CON, then I'll be there too. That'll be after I move to San Diego, though. So I'm deciding on whether or not to take a 45-minute Southwest flight or drive. And I'm thinking flying is going to be a lot easier and quicker for me. So, they have specific things here. Memory safe programming languages. C Sharp, Rust, Ruby, Java, Go, and Swift. Read NSA's memory safety information sheet for more. So there's a lot of, good PDF documents in here on software memory safety, exploiting different types of memory issues. Let me see if they've got anything here. So they talked about C Sharp, Go. Haha, look at me. My tutorials on Friday are memory safe. Oh, even with a memory safe language, memory management is not entirely memory safe. Why do you say it's memory safe, but it's not entirely memory safe? You people, damn. Most memory safe languages recognize software sometimes needs to perform an unsafe memory management function to accomplish certain tasks. As a result, classes or functions are available that are recognized as non-memory safe and allow the programmer to perform a potentially unsafe memory management task. Okay, great. Fun times. So they really don't. So like most things with the government, they tell you should do something. They just don't tell you how to go about doing that. I'm not going to be, Digital Warhead, I'm not going to be doing the work. I'm merely management. I'm not allowed to, touch keyboard or anything like that. Matter of fact, I had to, not for this event, but for the one in Vegas, I will actually have to take a burner laptop for work because I'll be there for work. So I will have to, I will have to have a specific laptop mailed to me that I will then promptly burn. What I'm hoping is that one will be better than my current laptop, and I can convince my management to let me keep the burner laptop. That way I can, maybe use my POS laptop I use for my daily driver elsewhere. So, but yeah. Mostly I'm just going to be like connecting the dots and talking with people and making sure that, triaging the vulnerabilities and submitting them to our team internally for reproduction on that. So, and, saying WTF, why did y'all allow this? Why do you hate me? Et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. Yeah, if I had to make sure my Kali was updated, I need to do that now because I probably need to download 6 gigs of stuff because I haven't run updates in the last 20 minutes. So, or 6 terabytes of stuff because I haven't ran updates in the next 20 minutes. So yeah, they still suggest application security testing using SAS and DAST, anti-exploitation features if possible. Control flow guard, ASLR, DEP, anti-exploitation features help mitigate vulnerabilities in memory safe and non-memory safe languages. So there's a lot of information cited in this doc, so that's good. Good to see. Did they say Java's memory safe? Are they out of their fucking mind? Seriously, memory safe languages, Java is memory safe now? Since when? Well, Digital Warhead, the network monitoring team at DEF CON is pretty top notch. Yeah, I mean, I've heard for years that like DEF CON and Black Hat use like OpenBSD and Packet Filter for their infrastructure. I don't know if that's still the case, but yeah, they actually had, when I was a hardcore OpenBSD user, they had pictures in the, what did they use? What was it? Black Hat, OpenBSD. Let me see. Let's say, where is it? Firewall. I didn't. Yeah, I want to say they had pictures or something of the system they used for it. Is this it? Hmm. Yeah, you can still run OpenBSD on a fairly small form factor, fairly cheap form factor. So, yeah, back in the day when I was on MissAt, they had they had a system for that. Yeah, my DEF CON experience, if I go, is probably going to be very much me not connecting to anything when I'm there, and I'll probably just step away. Hey, Bloodbound. That would be Digital Warhead. You can thank Digital Warhead for the subscription. So I figured all those people just got emails saying, hey, Digital Warhead is an awesome person, and there you go. So, um, but yeah, since we don't have a Patreon anymore, but technically we have a paid sponsor from Blue Mirror. You there you go. Oh yeah, you got all the cool icons now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Um, my favorite one is actually the Simon Belmont. I love the Simon Belmont one. Um, yeah, yeah. You know, I just told my wife about the burner phone thing last night, and I'll yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see. The I don't know where the event is going to be at DEF CON yet. So, but and I don't know how many days it's going to be. If it's only going to be 1 or 2 days, then it'll be fine. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So, um, let me see. Go back to this was an interesting slide deck that I found. Distributed, immutable, and ephemeral: new paradigms for the next era of security. This is from 2019, so it's not new by any way, by any stretch. But they say we are rapidly approaching the next era of security where we need to be focused on the ability to recover from irrecoverable attacks. So obviously, ransomware's gotten ugly. You know, so many new ransomware vectors and companies. I think this probably even predates Carbon Black, or not Carbon Black. What's the the offensive security tool that is now being used for evil. Carbon Black is the only thing that's coming up right now, but yeah. Um, so there's some interesting things here. We don't solve cybersecurity. We're not going to solve cybersecurity. Um, we're not going to solve it within the next few years. No, it wasn't Eternal Blue. It's the uh, it was a tool for red teamers that was then turned into like the damn it, now I gotta go figure it out. It uses beacons. Yeah, I like Metasploit. Cobalt Strike. There it is. Cobalt Strike. Which is now, a good tool for bad guys to use. So well, that's an interesting site. But yeah, I'm sure people use Metasploit too, sort of the same stuff. Um, oh, that was another story. What should we focus on if we want to solve it within the next few years? I don't, like I said, I don't think you can solve it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what. Obviously, the problem I have with slide decks like this is you don't have any context into what the person was thinking when they made these slides. There's no speaker notes or anything behind it. Maybe this would be a good discussion to have this person on. Sounilyu. Uh, Here's the I already. So they obviously they're calling the OODA loop again. So and let me see here. So quick history of IT. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of context we're missing in regards to these things. Uh, you know, various eras, core challenges, soon breach, too many privileges. Yeah, so Sounilyu. Soun. Sounilyu. Ilyu. There it is. Jupiter 1 CISO. Okay. Mason NatSec Fellow, N95 volunteer, created the Cyber Defense Matrix and Die Triad. Okay, so that's the Die Triad is what they talked about. Cyberdefensematrix.com. Framework created by Sonil YU to help you expertly navigate the cybersecurity landscape. Okay. All right, I guess. Oh, why is that so god awful large? Okay. Identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover devices, apps, services. Degree of dependency down to people and process. Imagine going into a grocery store. I'll have y'all take a look at this if you want to. I don't endorse it. I just literally learned about it today, so we can look at that at some point. Vendor marketplaces like this disorganized grocery store. Proof of this assertion can be seen by looking at the vendor hall at any major security conference, like RSA. The cacophony of sounds from vendors hawking their wares, confusing language of the vendor's marketecture, that's a new one, and the lack of any semblance of organization aside from biggest and smallest does not help buyers understand what they need or where to find it. So there you go. Got a nice word wall here of various things. Identity and access management appears to be the largest in that wall. And then we have words like secure access service edge, so SASE. The zero trust, of course, is in there. So yeah, we need to stop letting market pitches dictate our terminology and not lose sight of the more bland descriptors that actually tell us what something does. So this matrix helps us understand what we need through organized through logical construct. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, there's a whole discussion here. So maybe worth a discussion with this person to see. Well, they're in DC, so that's Eastern time zone, and we'll see what happens. Looks like they're at RSA as well. March 13th. Okay, so they haven't been on since 13th. Let's see. Yeah, you can follow this person if you'd like. Tell them, hey, you heard about the Die Triad on our show, and see if we can get. What I'm hoping is, if they decided to come on, it wouldn't be through their PR company, but we'll see what happens. Lifetime Achievement Award by the Sands Institute. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. Interesting. Okay. This one I saw. This is not new either. This is from July 2022, but they say the Unit 42 incident response report from 2022 said 15 minutes from once CVEs have been announced, which I found interesting because it was like the NSA is asking for more transparency and CVE, more fully, filled in CVE reports from MITRE and them. Yet the more information you put in, the quicker it actually becomes for bad actors to start scanning for vulnerabilities. So there's going to have to be a happy medium. There's going to have to be what do we want to tell people to make sure that they get enough to know about the vulnerability, but not enough that somebody can go within 15 minutes and start scanning for a vulnerability. That is going to be the special sauce, I think, in this case for a lot of this stuff. 20, 22, 13, 30, 1388, critical unauthenticated RCE and Big 5 IP, right? That's, let me see. So, oh yeah, device takeover. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah. That one was ugly. That one was an ugly vulnerability. 9.8, right? I control REST component and allows malicious actor to send undisclosed requests to bypass authentication in Big IP. Yeah, that one was an ugly one. I remember that. So, but so they say they recorded 2,552 scans and exploit attempts. 10 hours had passed after the announcement of that Big IP CVE. So what they're trying to say is if you don't patch your stuff within 15 minutes of a CVE being announced, assuming that there is a patch available and that you're hitting refresh like you're trying to get tickets at ShmooCon, you could be owned before you know it, right? Depending on, maybe it would depend on where your system sits in the IP address list. So those folks on the 3 dot network may be hit sooner than somebody with a 253 address or something like that. Maybe it's just random. So interesting. So again, this is a 2022 article. Just as a heads up, this is almost a year old, but I think it's probably still true, maybe even a little faster, depending on. I think it depends on what information is available. Maybe if you overshare, like what the NSA wants, it's 15 minutes. Maybe if you are keeping it close to your chest, like the Oracle folks are, maybe they do that on purpose because they know the vulnerabilities that they have in Java are really god awful and can be immediately scanned for and accessed. So maybe there's something to the fact that Oracle doesn't overshare. It doesn't make a vulnerability management person's job any easier in that respect. So, yeah. So there you go. Anybody have anything interesting happening this week? I mean, I'm going to Santa Monica, but anything you've got coming up that you want to talk about? Any wins in the last couple weeks? I know we haven't asked that question in the last few days. Did I put the memory safe PDF in there? No, I did not. Let me go ahead and add that one too, just so everybody has it. This is the memory safety software memory safety PDF that came from CISA's overarching discussion on security. So let me see, where is that one at? Yeah, principle for secure by design. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this one here. So I think I added that one. Yeah, that's up here in the chat. So not again. What? Look, give me another 5 minutes or so. Okay. So yeah, cool. Let me go get that. So I have to go pack, and I have to figure out what I'm going to take with me because obviously I can't take my whole rig. I don't want to take my SLR and all that stuff. So I'll probably grab a GoPro or something and plug it in. Use my laptop. Is that a two-way street too? Is the NSA going to disclose vulnerabilities to developers? They don't have the greatest track record of doing so in the past. I don't know. You're right. That is kind of a two-way street. I don't think the NSA wants companies to disclose to them. Maybe. Um, uh, I think the NSA. I think the NSA, probably like China or what have you, if they know about those vulnerabilities and they're not well known, they know the minute that they disclose that to that company, they're going to patch that. Because companies have fiduciary responsibility or something, and they burn operational payloads that they could use. They have the big 5 IP that we just talked about. If the NSA knew about that one, they probably used it as long as they thought they could, and then they decided to disclose it. It's not like it's not like they're hurting for cash. So they're not looking for the big bug bounty program stuff. So I think that they use that as part of their tradecraft until such point that they feel like they've used it to its need, or maybe they find that vulnerability working in operation, and then they use that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you replace NSA with FSB or Radiant Blizzard or whatever the hell Microsoft's calling threat actors nowadays, is it the same? Is it the same question? I mean, in that case, is NSA just like the threat actors that we're trying to to protect against in the first place? I don't know. I'd like to think the NSA is doing it only for good. Obviously, your definition of good varies depending on your mindset or your experience. So Um, and having worked in government, I know that there's a lot of folks there that fairly mealy mouthed, and they take a lot of time to you know go through process, and it takes several layers of discussion to get anything done. So some folks are very political there, and it's like, are we going to be spending any political capital, or what does this cause us? Kind of like um, I don't know, any security company. It's like, what are the risks of us not doing this? So there's going to be those kinds of questions and things asked in every place, and you're going to get overridden from a security point of view. Uh, so yeah, Um, I think I'm making burgers tonight, so I'm going to go. I know it was a little short, but I'm hoping at some point I'll be, recording either Thursday night or Friday night. Probably Friday. Actually, it's probably going to be more Friday because I'll have nothing to do Friday evening except, go down and watch the sunrise or sunset in Santa Monica, and then I'll come back and have dinner and we'll do some chatting. I don't know if we'll do some Go stuff, but I'll definitely be there. And then we have Sunday night with Dr. Ullman, so that'll be good times. So I'm gonna go. You can continue our conversation by going to Discord. There you go. If you want to join our Slack, you can do so as well. But yeah, that's where we go for all of our Discord stuff. NSA says lattice-based encryption is enough. No need for quantum resistance cryptography algorithms yet. I don't know what lattice-based security. I was told math wasn't involved, so not to make jokes. Lattice-based encryption. Does anybody use lattice-based encryption? It's the generic term for constructions of cryptographic primitive that involve lattices, either in the construction itself or in the security proof. Are we using lattice-based encryption yet? Let's see. Anything legitimately using those? Okay. Key exchange, crystals, Kyber, Photochem. Yep, but not as much as public key. Okay. Yeah, I would assume that if anybody's using lattices, it would be part of their marketing spiel that they would put out. Hey, we're using blah. The finest lattice-based encryption that that your money is going to buy. Yeah. So I mean, for now, yeah, sure. I mean, I saw what was that? Was it? Hold on 1 second. I had a graphic that somebody was talking about. The fact that it doesn't. Come on, open a browser. There we go. So this was something I think came from LinkedIn, and they were talking about how long it takes to brute force your password in 2023. I think somebody had said that this is based on offline cracking, not online cracking. So if you're banging on a web app constantly, then it's going to probably be different. But so by this measurement, if I create a 16 character lowercase only password, it's going to take 713 years. That's fairly secure for me. I'm good with that. Um, I don't know what they consider red. Red, I'm assuming is like that's too short. 226 years. I'm going to call that green. Because I mean, unless we divide it by 8 every year or something, and it's not really 226 years, and next year it will be, you know, or if I make it a 17 character password and that's 18 years or 18,000 years, even if I divided that by 8, that's still 1,000 years. So I'd have to divide it by, you know, 36 or 56 or whatever. Yeah, that's my guess. Magnesium. Um, you know, also if you're doing password cracking offline, you're running it against rainbow tables, right? So every possible, depending on how it's hashed. Somebody had mentioned the use of bcrypt versus whatever is typical. If you're using SHA-1 or something to make it more processor intensive or to to be defeating GPU usage. So using like bcrypt or what did he say, algol? I think algol was the hotness that they said. Let me see. Oh, by the way, Stinger, if you're watching, it's good to see you at the Athenian the other day. Uh, it was weird. I was walking back to go sit with the family, and somebody said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I didn't make the connection immediately. And I do apologize for that. But yeah, Stinger hit me up on there. Let me see, where is it? Come on. I do believe somebody said, yeah, it's for offline cracking, and if you use bcrypt or something like that, it would make it much more difficult to do. But for me, it's like I'm at good enough right now in my lifetime. Good enough for me is 16 character, all lowercase, password is 713 years. He definitely was at the camp out. He asked about if the camp out was going to still happen. He was interested in helping out with that, so I sent him Matt and Ted's information, who will hopefully continue that next year. So, but yeah, 713 years is good enough for me, because even if you divide that by 8, that's still 80 some years to be able to crack my 16 character password, all lowercase letters. I know it's anathema. I know it's like, why Brian is messing things up. We need our upper lower number and special characters. I'm like, do you? Do I need to have a 16 character password that's good for 5 billion years? No, no, I don't. Do I need one that's good for 15,000 years? No, no, I don't. 226 years, probably good enough, considering we change them every year. So if you can't crack it in 226 year CPU time, then it's probably good enough, right? So I don't know. Um, I, I think we screwed ourselves by trying to do all this upper lower number special thing, and we didn't do ourselves any favors. We being the security community, we didn't do ourselves any favors by that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you're picking 8 characters minimum, yeah, that's probably still not good, but no change until disclosed. That's great, Magnesium. That's perfect. I mean, the thing that a lot of people worry about is the auditors, right? The auditors are still on board with the upper lower number specials. I, oh, it is okay. I managed to talk long enough. So yeah, my boss is telling me I need to go. I have 5 bosses, Bob. Um, yeah. So digital. Yeah. So one of the things that the absolutism, I agree. Password managers are great. Um, this guy, this guy. Um, yeah, no problem, Magnesium. I ask you to go and read K Carhan's screed on Mastodon, if you have Mastodon. One, I have a little issue with him being, using words like tech literate and calling users bad things. I do not agree with his views, obviously. And yeah, so yeah, so he wants, he wants to force all emails to be encrypted properly, and I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna ever happen. Good thought though, will never work. So, and nagging people is the best way to get anybody to adopt anything. Just not a fan of his, methods here. So, you can walk up and down this email thread on Mastodon. It's the absolutism that gets me every time. If my mother has 3 websites she goes to, there's no reason for her to have a password manager. She can write her passwords down, make them long enough. She can refer to them in her book, whatever. Not everybody needs a password manager. It's definitely a use-based kind of thing. So anyway, if you would like to debate that with me on Discord, please do so. I would love to have the discussion with you in a civil manner. And maybe I see you at DEF CON and we can have an adult beverage and talk about that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Let's see who's online right now. Let's see, Raid Triplexity. Let's see, twitch.tv/break. Oh, Sid Heresy. Let's do Sid. SYDHERESY. Okay. Yeah. Hope everyone has a good day. I will probably talk to you on Friday. Just keep an eye out, and yeah, we'll discuss more later. So, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.